It's time for us to take a closer look, and it's a closer look at a continuing story. We've seen over weeks, months, years, NVIDIA's dominance as the hardware accelerator for AI. We've seen NVIDIA chips being the core of what's driving AI forward. And of course, AI is what's driving NVIDIA to be such a massively valuable company. Just as the cryptocurrency bubble burst, AI came in and saved NVIDIA. Hmm, Maybe NVIDIA's worried that AI isn't going to last them forever. So a couple of moves that we've seen in here. One of them is NVIDIA has teamed up with Intel. Huh. Intel seems to be teaming up with a whole bunch of new people. Maybe this is Lip-Bhutan's plan, is to actually have Intel not as the standalone leader, but as partnerships with other organizations.
Yeah, this is a fascinating investment, and to see a competitor invest $5 billion at the drop of a hat, but a competitor that's in trouble, right? They're working through how they're going to end up organizationally. Of course, there's been talk about investment in their foundries, especially in the US, and how those are going to survive. Some of our friends in Ohio are probably very tuned into this, who may or may not be involved in the production of this episode. It's fascinating to watch. I do see the benefit of making sure, for U.S. interests, there is silicon production in the U.S. and helping this survive. I think that this investment is probably going to be key to Intel surviving in some way or form, whether they remain independent or whether they actually become part of an NVIDIA at some point.
And the other commitment that NVIDIA's recently made is a little bit bigger. So $5 billion to Intel, but a $100 billion commitment to OpenAI. And helping OpenAI build 10 gigawatts of data center power. This is a huge infrastructure partnership, which comes on the back of the infrastructure partnership we saw between NVIDIA and CoreWeave that we covered. And that was a mere $6 billion. This $100 billion with OpenAI is absolutely massive. I think one of the interesting things on this is that the money that that NVIDIA commits to OpenAI will probably come back to NVIDIA, because OpenAI is going to be buying millions of GPUs with those $100 billion. So maybe NVIDIA's getting a stake in OpenAI by giving them GPUs, and that's an interesting way to run it. I wonder if that has some impact on tariff costs, because of course the current government's tariffs in the US are part of the driver for NVIDIA wanting to team up with Intel and use those within the US chip fabs, rather than being hit with the import tariffs as they're coming in from overseas. 100 billion for a long time with OpenAI.
Yeah. Well, I saw some interesting comparisons about, OpenAI and NVIDIA. Are they the new Microsoft and Intel? In a sense, we have a new operating system and a new computing platform. It's an interesting analogy. Time will tell if that really plays out. Certainly those geopolitics and tariff implications are a factor here. I'm not an economist and I don't play one on television, but you don't have to go too deep in your economics textbooks to say, yeah, this is probably a motivator here. But it's a very significant placing of a bet and investment. And the return will come back to NVIDIA, just like you mentioned.